What's the worst thing you've ever done on a date? I was on my first date with this guy I had a huge crush on, walking through the park. I had memorized a bunch of conversation starters in case things got awkward. And just as I was trying to think of something to say, he suddenly said, "I think I really like you." I was so nervous that instead of responding normally, I completely panicked and said, "Oh no, you can't." He stopped dead in his tracks. "What do you mean I can't?" My brain was screaming at me to explain, but I just kept digging deeper. It's complicated. There are things you don't know about me. Now he looked genuinely concerned. What kind of things? I had absolutely no idea what I was talking about, but the words kept coming. "I have a condition. It's rare. Very rare. Are you okay? Is it serious?" At this point, I was in too deep to back out. "I can only be in relationships during months that end in raw." He blinked at me. "What?" "September, October, November, December. It's a medical thing. My doctor says the other months are too stressful for my emotional nervous system." This poor guy stood there processing what I'd just said while I mentally cursed my entire existence. "But it's June," he said slowly. "Exactly. That's why this is so complicated. If we start dating now, my condition could flare up. I could have emotional episodes, crying fits, panic attacks. It's not pretty." He was staring at me like I'd grown a second head, but somehow he looked more intrigued than horrified. "I've never heard of anything like that. It's called seasonal relationship disorder. Only affects like 0.001% of the population. I'm basically a medical anomaly." "That's actually kind of fascinating," he said, and I could see the wheels turning in his head. "So what happens if you try to date in the wrong months?" Oh god, he was buying this. I was committed now. "Well, last time I tried dating in March, I ended up in the ER. Full emotional breakdown. They had to sedate me." His eyes widened. "That's terrible. I'm so sorry." "It's okay. I've learned to manage it. That's why I usually just stay single from January through August. It's safer for everyone involved." We kept walking and he was asking more questions about my completely made-up condition. I found myself creating an entire mythology around it. Apparently, my doctor was a specialist in Boston. There were only 12 other documented cases worldwide. I took special vitamins during the dangerous months. "So you're telling me that if I asked you to be my girlfriend right now, you could literally end up hospitalized?" "It's a real possibility," I said, trying to look brave and tragic. He went quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "You know what? I think you're worth waiting for." My heart stopped. This sweet, amazing guy was actually willing to wait 4 months to date me because of my insane lie. "Really?" I squeaked. "Really. I'll call you September 1st. We can have our first official date when it's safe for you." He walked me home and gave me the most gentle, understanding hug I'd ever received. As he was leaving, he turned back and said, "Take care of yourself, okay? Don't push it with any summer romance." "I won't," I promised, hating myself. That night he texted, "I googled seasonal relationship disorder and couldn't find anything, but I figure if it's that rare, it wouldn't be online yet. Sweet dreams." I stared at that text for hours. This guy was so genuinely caring that he'd researched my fake condition, and when he couldn't find it, he didn't assume I was lying. September rolled around, and true to his word, he called. "Is it safe now?" he asked. I couldn't do it anymore. I confessed everything. The fake condition, the panic, all of it. There was this long silence, then he started laughing. "You know what's crazy? I spent 3 months reading about seasonal depression and relationship psychology because I wanted to understand what you were going through." "I'm the worst person alive," I said. "Actually, you might be the most creative. Want to go on our first real date? I promise not to tell you I like you until you're ready. We've been together for 2 years now." He still jokes that he's dating a medical anomaly, and every September 1st he brings me flowers to celebrate our safe season.